Sure. And let me ask you this then, with regards to culture, and obviously you engage with many different brands and organizations. Is the room in the marketplace for salespeople who are, I've got to frame this specifically, but salespeople who are perhaps experts in the field, but they're not using the scientific method. They're using gut feeling, they're using the art of sales and influence. And then perhaps they're coupled with a marketing team that's all about brand and slightly less measurable things. Is it possible to have success or rapid growth in those type of organizations, or does it need to be based on facts and numbers and data?
Well, I mean, obviously you want both, but it's like the best kind of growth in sales and marketing is really you're combining facts and process with the human element of art or intuition and relationships. That's really what you want with both, right? You don't want robots who are just like punching numbers, but you also don't want I don't know, like pure art. So that's really the combination. And what happens is, one person cannot be great at everything, right? So, but the team you're putting together should have some, even a balance of strengths, right? Even salespeople are so different from person to person. Some salespeople, again, super relationship based, and they're just not very organized, right? They might be better at like high end complex sales. Then some people are super process oriented, might be better at like transactional sales. I mean, so it's not so much you can't have a team of perfect salespeople, and each salesperson has that right balance of art and science. So ideally, you're creating some systems that are really the star. Right? Sure. So the sales process, the marketing, like the inbound funnel, the outbound funnel, the sales funnel, customer success funnel, they're all funnels. So there's systems, and having some structure around like people knowing what they need to do every day helps. And then, working one-on-one to leaders with your team to realize, okay, I've got 6 people, and I know ideally the strengths and weaknesses of each. And some people are better, and they just can't be great at everything. It's why sales specialization works, right? This is the most fundamental idea to make a sales team better, which is making sure that your salespeople aren't doing too many jobs. Right? Classic mistake, sales teams that expect their people to do prospecting and inbound lead response and sign new customers and manage customers. It's too much. It's like what sports team, what football team would have the coach tell all their players, everyone attack and everyone defend, and then everyone be goalie. It makes no sense. So why do we do that for salespeople? So it's the same idea, which is, okay, let's have some specialists like prospectors who prospect, closers who sign new customers, different from account managers who upsell current customers, different from customer success, different from inbound lead response. Same principle is, okay, for my people, kind of knowing which for each person, like what are they really good at? What are they not so good at? How can we leverage their strengths and kind of work with their weaknesses?
Slightly off topic here, and I'll drag it back onto topic in a second, but do you put any value in personality tests, sales assessments, things like this, to start to build a bit of perhaps data around what people are good and bad at, as opposed to just observing them in the environment, whether they're having success?
Yes, in the sense of I know people have done it and they use it. I haven't used them as much myself. They haven't helped me as much, but that's not against the so yes, I think if that's the kind of thing where you have used them and you like them and they're useful, but they're not always useful to everyone.
Yeah. The reason I ask, some selfishly, is that we have one over at salesman.org, and it helps build our training program out and customizes it for individuals. But the biggest critique I've got of it personally, of what we've built, is it's only a snapshot in time, right? If if something's gone rubbish in your morning just before you do the assessment, who knows what results you're going to get versus if you were nice, chilled, or really zoned in and focused. So that's something that we need to work on internally. But I like, as we're talking about data, I thought I'd just ask that question. Okay, so coming back from, we want to reignite sales growth. We're going to double down on the niche. And as you said, this is probably something that we should do once a year, if not more often, depending on what's going on in the world. What do we need to do from a perspective of kind of storytelling or understanding the story of the buyer? What I mean from that is, it's one thing to say, hey, hospitality shut down, we should just change direction completely. But it's another when we start engaging with these individuals, whether it's customer interviews or whatever it is. How do we pull out from them? Is there any questions we should be asking to really understand what the gap is that we're selling into? Is there anything counterintuitive that we should be asking or inquiring to? Or are there any very specific data points that we need to make sure that our hypotheses are correct?
No, I mean, I think that like what can be really interesting is if you really listen, and you're talking about, kind of like how they handle a process or what's changed or like what metrics they're like are looking to measure, is you're really looking for these kind of like keywords and key phrases, right? These offhand things they'll say, they just drop some sort of like jargon or phrase that they don't even think about. They're just used every day. And like really listening for those that things that you could use in your messaging, whether it's like a paid ads or email or phone calls. Uh, Especially again, if metrics are trying to affect metrics they care about. So what are those? Because again, if you can affect someone's, like a sales executive, they're trying to affect metrics. Marketing executive, most roles have metrics they would like to affect if they're somewhat senior. So it's really just listening, asking about what they're dealing with. Yeah, pains, problems, but is there any kind of like insider jargon, keywords, key phrases, or metrics that they're dropping? And they may not even realize it. And those kind of golden nuggets to use in what you're doing.